What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So today I want to get your thoughts on what is actually coming, because I've been getting a lot of questions from people asking for my thoughts, and so I want to explain what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, and what likely you're going to see very soon as well. So if you have any questions, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. But let's get started. So here's what I want your thoughts on. Over the past few weeks, really over the past, I'd say about a month or so, we're starting to get more and more people talking about the issues, right? You're probably wondering, well, what issues? Well, we have this re-emergence of COVID. We have more mask mandates now than we did, 2-3 months ago. We are now starting to get more people are putting Social Security at the forefront. They want to make that a priority. We're also starting to see some are not even talking about border security anymore. Others are. Ukraine is seeking additional funding, and Democrats want to provide it for them. And so these are just some of the issues. Now, here's what I find is very interesting. Before we started hearing about the campaigns and the people that are running, hopefully, to become the next president of the United States, we didn't hear much about COVID. It was tapering off, right? It wasn't coming back. And now we have, some other issues because now we have additional variants. We weren't hearing about Social Security. That was talked about amongst smaller groups. Now, more people are coming forward and saying, we need to provide Social Security benefits or increase benefits for Social Security recipients, because they've been screwed over the past few years. We are not hearing as much on border security. Why? We're not hearing a lot about, what could we do instead of providing $24 billion to Ukraine? How else could we spend that money? Over the past few months, we've been hearing discussion after discussion after discussion about saving money, reducing expenses, limiting the amount that we spend. And now it's, okay, we need to spend more money here. We need to spend more money on that thing. We need to do this and that. We need to provide for the states, the cities. We also need to make sure FEMA is funded, because right now FEMA is running out of money. They potentially have 1 week left of funding before they are pretty much at zero. So there's a lot of priorities here, but I want to know your thoughts. Is the reason why we are now starting to hear about all these different priorities and what the American people actually wanted, is the only reason why we're hearing about this now simply because of, the elections are about a year away? We got people campaigning to, hopefully, they will be the next president, or they will be the next senator, or whatever, right? I think it's frustrating because we don't know what to believe. And I bring this up because a lot of people have been asking. And one person, I don't have their email right in front of me, but they said something along the lines of, like, Adam, can you explain why the media is blowing all this up? Because where I live, COVID isn't coming back. Another person said pretty much the exact same thing. The media is blowing it up. But why is nobody talking about President Biden wanting to send double the amount of money to Ukraine than he wants to give to our own people? And what's frustrating is I don't have an answer for that. What I can tell you, based off of just my guess, and there's no facts here, but my guess is President Biden is trying to provide for Ukraine because, if we can pretty much get rid of that, get rid of the war between Russia and Ukraine, it should bring the cost of gasoline down. And what we know is gasoline prices and the cost of oil, that dictates the price of almost everything. Because when it takes more money to fuel a ship or just a truck, it means you are going to spend more money to get the item, even though it may come from China, has to get to the US somehow. Even though you may go and buy your items from Target or Walmart, you got to go pick them up somehow. So as we spend more money on the exact same goods, that's probably what President Biden's trying to do. Bring the cost down. Because his big argument, his one argument, is inflation is much lower than what it was. It's because of the Inflation Reduction Act. Now I'm being somewhat sarcastic because the Inflation Reduction Act there's no research saying that was what contributed to lower inflation. It was just the American people stopped spending money. We got tired of doubling our expenses because we wanted to go buy that pizza or go and get the steak, go buy the new car. People aren't going to buy homes right now because it's just too expensive. So I just want to know your thoughts. Do you think the reason we're starting to hear more and more about these different stories and some of these reports, is it because we are a year away from the presidential election? I want to know. Let me know down in the comment section below. Here's the last thing I just want to say. Okay, I don't want to make this too long. The last thing I just want to say is that we are about to see this ramp up. I've said this before. I said it about a year ago, where right before the election, and it happened about 6 months before, we started to see all those ideas that were thrown around by the media, by some lawmakers. We were starting to see those ideas turn into bills. And as they turned into bills, then some lawmakers really started to push them and started to get their constituents behind them. That, hey, if you vote for me, I'll help you get that $300 per month child tax credit. If you vote for me, I'll do everything I can to ensure that our taxes don't go up. If you vote for me, I'm going to make sure that we do not have to pay more for the same things we're buying right now. Okay? Like gasoline, like electricity. So what's interesting is I think the talks are going to continue, but they're going to ramp up. So just wanted to fill you in on what I'm seeing. But again, I want to know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, and I will see you guys on the next one.